Imagine a bustling shopping mall where thousands of people come and go daily, and right inside that mall is a secret apartment where 8 artists lived for 4 years. The mall authorities had no idea that they were secretly residing there. These artists would come and go like regular shoppers, blending into the crowd. Each of their stays would last up to 3 weeks at a time. It may sound like a legend, but this is the true story of Michael Townsend and his fellow artists. This story is one of creativity, rebellion, and resistance against the modern structures and norms of malls. In 2003, Rhode Island-based tape artist Michael Townsend and 7 of his collaborators built a fully functional apartment inside the Providence Place Mall. But it wasn't just a secret shelter, it was a response to the changing urban landscape and a deep artistic protest. According to Michael, this place wasn't built for fun. It was a sanctuary where people could rest, collaborate, and reflect on the changes happening around them. Today we bring you the story of this secret mall apartment hidden in plain sight within the mall itself. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing tales. The story begins in Providence, Rhode Island in the early 2000s. At that time, under a plan to revitalize the city, developers called it a renaissance. The Providence Place Mall was considered the centerpiece of this transformation. It was built to inject new energy into the city, but for local artists like Michael Townsend, this so-called renaissance felt more like the erasure of identity and community. Around the same time, Michael and hundreds of other artists were forced out of nearby mill buildings due to gentrification. Gentrification refers to the transformation of low-income neighborhoods where affluent residents and businesses move in, driving up property values, rent, and living costs. On one hand, it brings infrastructure improvements and economic growth, but on the other, it displaces low-income residents, altering or even erasing the cultural identity of the area. Supporters see it as a source of new investment, while critics argue it increases inequality and destroys local heritage. Because of this gentrification, families and artists like Michael were displaced from the area. In that neighborhood, around 400 artists lived and worked, renting cheap spaces for their homes and studios. Michael Townsend is an American artist known for creating large-scale public art using tape. He is the founder of the tape art movement, which involves creating temporary and artistic designs in public spaces using tape. This form of art is temporary and can be easily removed, making it accessible to everyone. Townsend's work often focuses on storytelling or themes of community and creativity. His tape art is playful and captivating, transforming walls and sidewalks into vibrant works of art. His creations have been displayed in cities around the world, inspiring countless people to view public spaces differently. Now let's return to the story of Michael Townsend and how his journey led to the secret mall apartment. After losing their living spaces, Michael Townsend and other displaced residents and artists spent years fighting against these development projects. Their goal wasn't to stop progress or development, but to reach a compromise, one where old buildings could be preserved and repurposed instead of being destroyed. However, developers demolished historic structures to build malls and parking lots, forcing artists to search for new spaces. In an interview, Michael Townsend once said, "We weren't just losing our studios, we were watching history being erased, and that felt wrong." Thus began the journey that led to the secret mall apartment. Between 1997 and 1999, the Providence Place Mall was constructed between downtown Providence and the Mill District. The idea of creating a secret apartment inside the mall first struck Michael Townsend when he closely observed the mall's construction. As Michael passed by the construction site frequently, he watched every beam being lifted and placed. During this time, he identified a 750 square foot space that was being used as storage during the mall's construction. But after the mall was completed and open to the public, this storage area became unused. The space wasn't a parking garage, nor was it part of the shops. It was a strangely vacant and forgotten area with no clear purpose. Just as the developers had demolished old, underutilized homes and studios to build the mall, Michael and 7 other tape artists decided to reclaim this unused 750 square foot space for themselves. Their goal was simple: to make creative use of this abandoned space and turn it into something meaningful, a secret apartment hidden in plain sight. Over time, Michael Townsend and the 7 other tape artists transformed this empty space into their secret home. When they first discovered the space, it was nothing more than a hollow concrete shell. But for these artists, it was like a blank canvas waiting to be shaped into something meaningful. The group worked together to clean and prepare the abandoned area. For weeks, they toiled tirelessly. They filled their backpacks with dirt and construction debris from the site and discreetly carried it out of the mall. On their way back, they brought small items in their bags to furnish and decorate the space. It wasn't just small materials, they went bold. During broad daylight, they managed to sneak in a sofa, a Chinese cabinet, and other furniture items from the mall to decorate their secret hideout. They even used concrete blocks to build walls, carefully smuggling them into the space piece by piece. Slowly, they turned the cold, abandoned area into a cozy, livable apartment, complete with their artistic touches to make it feel like home. The artists used the mall's hustle and bustle to their advantage. To avoid security guards, they visited their secret space during the day, blending in with the crowd and slipping away unnoticed. Eventually, they managed to tap into the mall's electricity, and with this newfound resource, they installed a TV and even a PlayStation, completing their secret apartment. It became not just a shelter, but a hidden masterpiece, a symbol of rebellion, creativity, and ingenuity hidden within the heart of the mall. But their project wasn't just about building an apartment, it was a brilliant act of resistance. Through this secret apartment, Michael Townsend and the 7 other tape artists were sending a powerful message against gentrification. It wasn't just a hideout, they turned the apartment into a creative space where they could share ideas, collaborate, and recharge themselves amidst the fast-changing urban landscape. At the time, the US was grappling with the aftermath of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, which left the nation in mourning. Michael and his fellow artists used their tape art to help heal communities. From creating life-size tape portraits of 9/11's victims to designing interactive murals in hospitals, their art brought comfort and hope during a time of grief. In an interview, Michael Townsend shared, "We would spend our days working on murals in hospital corridors or engaging in deeply emotional projects like 9/11's memorials. Then we'd return to the apartment to plan our next steps." Their work extended far beyond the walls of the secret apartment. It became a hub for creativity and resilience, symbolizing how art could resist, heal, and inspire even in the face of overwhelming change. But as they say, secrets can't be kept forever. As expected, Michael and his friends had been living in the secret mall apartment, but one day, upon returning, they discovered that someone had broken into the space. The intruders had stolen the PlayStation and a few other personal items. Oddly enough, they left behind the silverware and the television, which puzzled Michael and the group. After all, why would thieves leave behind the more valuable items? This discovery terrified Michael and his friends. For 4 years, they had managed to keep the apartment hidden from everyone, but now someone had found it, and they could return at any moment. In response, they created a new rule. They would only stay in the apartment at night when the mall was less crowded and the chances of being caught were much lower. They also reinforced a rule they had been following almost from the beginning: never share the apartment's secret with anyone. Then, how was Michael caught? Let's dive into it. One day, Michael Townsend was hosting an artist named Jaffa from Hong Kong. During their time together, Michael wanted to show Jaffa his secret mall apartment. Michael thought, what's the harm? So, Michael takes Jaffa to the hidden space and shows everything: the sofa, the lights, the television, and the small decorations that made the apartment feel like a true home. Michael even shared their future plans with Jaffa, explaining that within a year, they intended to live there permanently. They were researching ways to install a water tank, build a small kitchen, and even add a toilet inside the apartment. After 4 years of hard work, the apartment had finally started to feel like a real home. However, as Michael and Jaffa left the apartment, they suddenly heard the sound of a walkie-talkie outside the door. At that moment, they realized they were trapped. The thieves they had assumed had stolen their PlayStation weren't random robbers after all. The previous break-in had been conducted by 2 mall security guards. The guards had taken some of their personal belongings, not to clear out the space entirely, but to identify who was using it. They had been watching and waiting for the secret apartment's occupants to return. Unfortunately for Michael, his decision to bring Jaffa to the apartment during daytime proved to be a costly mistake. The security guards caught him red-handed as he exited the apartment with Jaffa. After 4 years of taking risks and living under the radar, the apartment was finally discovered by the police in 2007. The mall's security guards captured Michael, and as the main architect of the secret apartment, he took full responsibility for the project to protect the identities of his fellow artists. His friends' names were never made public. After being interrogated in police custody, Jaffa was released, but Michael Townsend faced criminal charges. He was charged with trespassing for illegally occupying the mall's property. In Michael's own words, the situation felt unbelievable. What I had worked so hard to keep private suddenly became public, and everyone wanted to know more about it. As part of his punishment, Michael was banned from visiting Providence Place Mall. The once hidden space, which had been his home and a symbol of artistic resistance, now felt like a distant memory. Once Michael's secret apartment was no longer a secret, the story became a media sensation, quickly going viral and gaining international attention. Despite facing legal consequences, Michael chose to use the incident as a platform to express his artistic perspective and to critique urban development and the misuse of unused spaces. After his arrest, Michael Townsend posted on a website, trummerkind.com, where he shared that the secret apartment had been a personal sanctuary for him. He explained that it had been a place of solace, especially during the time when he worked on the Hope Project, an artistic tribute to the victims of 9/11s. Michael also expressed his gratitude for the apartment experience within the mall, acknowledging its role in giving him the space to recharge creatively. Finally, Michael made sure to apologize for any inconvenience caused to the security and the police. Based on Michael Townsend's real-life experiences, director Jeremy Workman brought the story to the screen in 2024 with the documentary titled Secret Mall Apartment. The film stars Michael Townsend, Colin Bliss, and Adriana Valdez-Young in leading roles. The documentary tells the fascinating story of a group of artists who secretly built an apartment inside Providence Place Mall in Rhode Island and their life within it. The film delves into urbanization, consumerism, and the impermanence of art, offering a deep conversation on these themes. On IMDb, the documentary holds an impressive rating of 8.1. Film Threat awarded it 8.5 out of 10, calling it a poignant story of artists finding purpose in an impossible place. Additionally, The Vogue listed it among the best documentaries of 2024, further highlighting its powerful narrative. The documentary not only showcases the creativity of the artists involved, but also presents an inspiring and unique story that resonates with audiences worldwide. Michael Townsend remains actively engaged in his creative art projects. He continues to work on large tape art installations and community-based art initiatives, collaborating with fellow artists to make art more accessible and engaging for people of all backgrounds. For more details on his current projects, you can visit www.tapeart.com. Michael Townsend's secret apartment story was not just about living secretly, it was a creative rebellion against the current system. The secret mall apartment was a symbolic protest, challenging the norms of urban development and the use of space. Next time you enter a mall, take a moment to pause and think, what stories might be hidden behind those walls? There are many untold stories and countless perspectives yet to be discovered. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. There are always new stories to hear and share. Keep listening and keep sharing the love and creativity until we meet again.